My best friend tricked me into going on a double date with a girl I've already rejected multiple times, and I had to walk out in front of her while she was excited to finally be on a date with me. Posted by you/Vachdidadach. I feel like I need to say this so this post isn't removed. This is not about the date, relationships, or something I want a judgment on. I want a judgment on me walking out of there. Cast, me, 25M, Joe, 26M, Jane, 24F. To give you a little background on this situation, I met Jane through Joe's girlfriend at her birthday party last year. At first, Jane was fun to talk to, but not even an hour later, she was really into me and tried really hard to hit on me during the party. That pretty much ruined my time there, as the feeling was not mutual in the slightest. Also, at the time, I was already with someone. So the first impression I got from Jane was that she was clingy, annoying, and just wouldn't stop bothering me. Unfortunately for me, she became part of my larger friend group because she is part of Joe's girlfriend's friend group. That's a mouthful, sheesh, and because Joe and I hang out a lot, and I'm also friends with his girlfriend, I pretty much run into her at minimum twice a month. The first time Jane asked me out was a month after that party. I informed her I was with someone and not interested. She tried again 2 months later, after I broke up with my then girlfriend. Again, I declined her advances and told her I was not interested. I got into a new relationship not long after, but unfortunately, she and I broke up about 2 months ago. Since then, as you might have anticipated, Jane has asked me out again. I said no again. Well, that brings us to this week. Everything has been opening up here, and Joe had been trying to fix me up with a friend of his girlfriend's and would not tell me who. He is well aware of me having rejected Jane multiple times and the fact that I am not interested in her. He knows this in detail. After a lot of what he calls convincing and I call whining, I had no interest in dating anytime soon. I relented and agreed to this double date idea of his. We agreed to meet at Joe's apartment, and lo and behold, Joe, his girlfriend, and Jane were occupying the dinner table, obviously intending for my date to be Jane. I honestly just got so goddamn angry that I couldn't even get a single word out. I turned around and left. I have been bombarded with texts and calls about how much of a douche I am and how terribly I hurt Jane and so on, and I'm just like, I literally rejected her like 3 times. I am not interested in her. You knew that. Your girlfriend knew that. Our entire friend group has a running joke about obsessive Jane, for F's sake, so literally everyone knows it. So, am I the jerk? Top/relevant comments. Commenter. Not the jerk. But your friend obviously is. Setting someone up with a person who's already been rejected is cruel, not the fact that you turned around. I would have honestly done the same. Ops response. I feel pretty crappy about it though. Regardless of my opinion on Jane, that must have stung. Commenter 2. You've made your feelings more than clear to Jane, and to your friend as well. You had every right to leave, as you'd already rejected her 3 times, and still, she set herself up for rejection number 4. You're not responsible for her hurt feelings at this point. Your friend should have known better than to blindside you with a date with someone he knows full well you have zero interest in. Though if I might venture a guess, I'd say the double date was 100% Jane's and your friend's girlfriend's idea, and your friend most likely just got pressured into convincing you to come. Ops response. Even so, he's one of my best friends, he shouldn't be screwing me over like that. Even if it was 100% their idea, I still blame Joe the most. Commenter 3. If they were smart, they wouldn't have set that up. It's like they were hungry for control in someone's life, and they took your love life as an easy target. Or Jane convinced them to do it despite knowing full well your stance on all this, which definitely says something about how she'd be in a relationship. I'd be yelling too. What a bunch of jerks, but you, sir, are not the jerk. Ops response. I honestly don't know exactly what went through their heads to come to the decision that this was a brilliant idea, and I'm not sure whether I'll ever find out, as I'm honestly doubting whether I want to stay friends with them. After giving it more thought and realizing that I'm not really the jerk, despite feeling guilty, I've seen one common theme in a lot of replies: Jane's behavior is obsessive and stalkerish. And honestly, it is. They both knew this too and decided to set me up with her anyway, which honestly leaves room for a slew of other issues. Update 2 months later. It has been a little under 2 months, and I've received quite a few requests to make an update over the past 9 or so weeks. At first, I was going to make one a week or 3 ago, but I decided against it and instead chose to wait until I had some proper updates. But well, here goes. At any rate, like I said, here goes. It turns out that some of the more pessimistic among you are right. Jane was being obsessive and stalkerish, and it all sort of came tumbling down on her at that point. A week or so after I made my post, she decided to message me. Well, it came down to her not understanding why I was showing interest in her and then refusing to date her. I never showed interest in her beyond basic friendliness. A wall of text was dedicated to thrashing my previous relationships and calling them all sorts of names, specifically pointing out how I dated the wrong girls, and a weird rant about how everyone agreed she and I were meant to be, which just isn't the case. Like I said in my previous post, there's a running joke in our friend group about how weird she is. Now, you might think this is something that can be expected, something that just happens, an outlet for her of sorts. Except she sent it from the wrong account. See, I had become internet friends with a person in the past month or two, we would game together, chat from time to time, you know, the usual organic internet friend situation. And the messages concerning our date were sent from this account. Turns out she had literally used this alias to infiltrate my internet friend group and keep tabs on me, of sorts. Obviously, this freaked me the F out. I took screenshots of what she had sent me and then blocked all the accounts I now knew she was using. I followed that up by sharing everything in our friend Discord and in our friend WhatsApp group so everyone could see, which resulted in her being kicked from both. I later got a call from Joe, full-on apologetic, telling me he had no idea and he knew he shouldn't have done it, but that his girlfriend was being pressured by Jane. Turns out, Jane had literally been beaching at her for months to arrange something like this, and she finally caved. Again, creepy stuff. I told him I needed some time, as he really effed me over big time and I didn't trust him anymore as a result. While Jane has been shunned by all our friends, she still contacted me twice, once to apologize, which quickly turned into weird crap where she started talking about us. She seems convinced there is an us and that I'm interested, and another time just to curse at me, both from random accounts. I'm not sure where to go from here, and I'm still pretty shook up. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. I knew it. I told you she would turn into a stalker, using a fake alias and trying to keep tabs on you. I'm not surprised she did this. So Jane was bothering her friend for months, then she badgered Joe into setting you two up. So your friend Joe caved to his girlfriend, just like she caved to Jane. Jane is persistent, when she wants something, she wants it. And she wants you. She'll stop at nothing to get it. By getting her best friend to set up that double date with you, she accomplished her goal. It took months to set up, but eventually she got what she wanted. Now, as for Joe, he at least apologized to you. But it's your choice whether you believe him or not, or whether you accept it. At least he acknowledges that he screwed up. But I don't blame you for not trusting him. It will take a long time for him to earn your trust back. As long as he's with his girlfriend, I wouldn't trust her, either. Now, she called and apologized to you, I don't know how to handle that one. But I'd be surprised if it was genuine. This girl lives in a fantasy world. Just be careful and cut all contact. If she keeps acting like a creepy stalker, depending on where you live, tell her you'll get a protective order or a restraining order against her, and that you'll involve the cops. Be safe and watch your back. Ops response. They both apologized, like full-on, long-ass apologies via email, but I'm keeping my distance from them, low contact. I don't think I want friends who F me over like that. As for a restraining order, I think it's pretty damn difficult to get one here. Commenter 2. I remember your original post. So she basically catfished you? Stay safe, she sounds unhinged and is struggling to take your very clear no for an answer. It'll probably be hard to trust online friendships in the future anyway, but it pays to be vigilant. I wouldn't put it past her to try it again. Ops response. F that, I ain't doing online friendships anymore. Commenter 3. I'm curious if you heard her voice online and didn't recognize it? Or was there no voice interaction? I have nothing against online friendships, or your new distrust of them, they aren't necessary things to have either way. But I've never had someone online that I considered a friend without interacting with them over voice chat regularly. Ops response. There was voice chatting, but I didn't recognize her voice. You've got to realize, I didn't exactly interact much with this girl. The only reason I knew her at all was because she was part of an extended friend group, not because we were actually friends. Also, if you game with voice, you probably know that real-life voice and in-game voice tend to sound different. Commenter 4. Definitely a wacko, but also it's weird how you were like homies with her alias lol. If only she could just act like her alias and not like the crazy chick she is. Ops response. Bro, her alias was fun to be around, it's creepy as hell though, like WTF.